Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Kim. I am a community learning specialist here at DoSpace, and welcome to Little's Lab. So for our Little's Lab today, if you are new with us, or maybe you've been with us before, but every month we kind of have a different theme. And today, September was a little funny. I started out with kind of talking about with math and numbers, but then I kind of transitioned to, we are talking about our 5 senses. So last week we kind of talked and learned about our sense of hearing, and then today we are going to talk about our sense of taste. So that's 2 of our 5 senses, right? We have we kind of talk about our 5 senses like those are our only ones. We actually have many, many senses within our person. We have our sense of balance, so we don't stand up and just tip over. There's so many other senses. I should probably look up a few more, but I do know our sense of balance is one. And yeah, but a lot of times we have kind of a base 5 senses, right? And I just mentioned 2 of those, right? So last week we talked about our sense of hearing that we do with our ears. And then today we are going to be talking about our sense of taste that we do with our tongue, right? We taste with our tongue. But what are our other 5 senses? We have 3 more. Do you know what some of the 3 other kind of our 5 senses that we might have? Share with the people that you're with, or if you want, have your grown-up help you type it in the chat. I would love to know if you know our other, the other 3 of our 5 senses. And so, yeah, so what do you think? We have our sense of touch that we use mostly with our fingers, but our sense of touch, basically anywhere we have skin, our sense of touch is in effect because we have nerve endings all over our skin, and our skin is our biggest organ, right? It covers our entire body. And all over our body, we have nerve endings that allow us to touch, but a lot of times we touch with our fingers, right? These are our primary kind of touch sensory things that we use. So we have our sense of touch. We have our sense of sight. So the ability to see with our eyes, and then we also have our sense of smell, to be able to smell with our nose, right? Yeah. But my question is, does everybody have these 5 senses? No, not everybody has these 5 senses. Sometimes people are born without the sense of hearing or the sense of sight. Those are kind of the most common. So people might be born deaf if they can't hear. They might be born blind if they can't see. I'm not sure if there's a name if you can't smell or taste or touch. And I'm pretty sure, I know there's some people that sometimes people get damage to their nose or their tongue or their mouth and they can't taste. I do even know that people sometimes they can't feel, which is that can be dangerous, right? Because a lot of times our sense of touch is it's really great when we're feeling something soft, but it also is kind of a warning sign if something is, sharp or hot. We need to be able to feel that. So if say something was really, really warm, we would know, ooh, we need to stay away from that because that might be too hot to touch. Things like that. So not everybody has these senses. Some people maybe sometimes aren't born with them, or sometimes they might have an accident or something might happen where they might lose those senses. But a lot of times if somebody loses or doesn't have those senses, the other ones get a lot more heightened or aware. So if somebody can't see, they might be able to hear really well, or they might be able to smell really well. Or if somebody, it's kind of the same with if they can't hear, they might have a really good sense of touch or sight or smell. So sometimes those other things are heightened. A lot of times, if you've ever been in a really dark room where you can't see, it seems like you can just hear everything, right? Which can kind of be scary, especially if it's not night. But sometimes it's ooh, where are all these sounds coming from? So that's kind of how that works. But yeah, so today we are going to be talking about our sense of taste. So we are going to be doing some taste testing. So I have some things with me that later on we're going to be taste testing. So if you are able to, if you're with people, so maybe some grown-ups, maybe during this time between our calendar and our story time, maybe your grown-ups can gather up some things that you might be able to taste test. So I have some suggestions. So there's some different things. So we need something sweet, something sour, something salty, maybe something spicy, and maybe something bitter. I know that the bitter one is kind of tricky, but if you can find some things that your kiddo can taste along with me here in a little bit, that would be great. And so we'll do that at the end, so your grown-ups maybe have time to do that. So, and I will put it in the chat so they know what we need. We need something sweet, sour, salty. A lot of these things start with our letter S, right? Bitter, or maybe or spicy. So those are some things that you can gather. I have a few things with me, so we'll see what you guys have and we'll compare, and you can see what I have later on. Perfect. Okay, well, before we get started with our sense of taste and learning about that, I want to look at our calendar, because our calendar is so great for learning, just knowing about our numbers, which is so important, right? Learning about our numbers and our days of the week, and even helping out with our letters. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and maybe, there we go. I think you should be able to see my screen. So you should be able to see it. Looks like a nice blue sky with a kind of a box in the middle with a triangle. It doesn't quite look like doesn't look like a calendar quite yet, does it? And that's okay, we're gonna get to that. So a lot of times when we were doing our programs in the building here, we have a really large touch screen that we would kind of navigate this through. Fortunately, we can't do that, can we, right now? But I want you to pretend with me. Can you pretend with me? So I'm going to actually navigate us through our website that will eventually get to our calendar. But if you can touch, when I tell you to, I want you to touch the screen where I tell you to, or if you aren't able to touch your screen, just touch your hand, just like boop, and we're going to pretend you have a button right in the middle of the hand. Can you do that? I bet you can. Okay, so for example, you should see right in the middle, kind of a dark rectangle with a white triangle. And on the count of 3, I want you to touch either that triangle or touch your hand on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3, boop, boop. Good job, nice. Okay, so you should see on our screen, this is the month that we are in. And this is our year that we're in. And so our month, it's kind of a big word, isn't it? It's a pretty big word, but I like it because we can kind of talk about our letters. So I want you to tell me, or tell the people that you're with, what is our very first letter in our month? What is this very first letter? Who knows what that very first letter is? I'll give you a hint. It makes the sound, or like a snake. What makes a sound? Is it our letter S? That's right, that is our letter S. So our letter S is our very first letter in our month that is called September. We are in the month of September. So we are getting ever closer to the end of our year, right? Which is, our year is 2020. So our year, it has 4 numbers, and there's 2 numbers repeating, right? So let's say them all together. We have 2020. So 2020 is 2020. That is the year that we're in. Nice job. Okay, so you guys should see a big green arrow on the bottom of your screen. On the count of 3, let's touch that green arrow, or touch your hand. So 1, 2, 3, boop. Very nice. Okay, so this looks more like our calendar, doesn't it? It looks a little bit more like what a calendar looks like. And so we see at the very top our month of September, and then we see our year 2020. And then right under that is our 7 days of the week. And it is so important to know our 7 days of the week, isn't it? Because we repeat these 7 days of the week, every week and every month, all year long for the rest of all time. So at least we have for a long time and for the foreseeable future. So it is so important to know our 7 days of the week. So I want us to say them all together. You say them with the people that you're with, and I'm going to say them with you. So let us start with our Sunday. So there's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Great job. Yeah, those are our 7 days of the week. And then do you know what today's day of the week is? What is today? What is today's day of the week? It comes after Monday and before Wednesday, and it starts with our letter T. Today is Tuesday. That is right. Today is Tuesday. So that's going to come. So you can see all of our Tuesdays right there. So today is Tuesday, all of our Tuesdays. And then our month is called September. And then this big number right here is our date today. And so it's kind of a big number, right? So if you don't know it, that's okay. And if you do, that's great. So, but our number repeats a number, doesn't it? What are these two numbers that repeat? It's a letter 2. So when there's a 2 is followed by a 2, it's 22. So today is the 22nd day of our month of September. And then we have 2020. So today is just full of 2s, isn't it? So many 2s. Excellent. Okay, so let's touch that green arrow one more time on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Boop. Perfect. Okay, so I need to fill in the missing day and date. So I'm just going to drag our Tuesday where it needs to go. And then I'm going to drag and put in our 22, or our 22nd day of September. And then we're going to touch the green arrow one more time, or our hand. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, boop. Okay, so yeah, so I like our calendar because it has a lot of, it uses little pictures or icons to show special dates for the month. And our month of September has a lot of them, doesn't it? You can see a lot of pictures. So we'll start the very beginning. So our very first picture is on Monday, September 7th. And it was Labor Day. So Labor Day is a day that people, sometimes it's to take a break from work, to get the day off of work. So people sometimes have that day off from work. Not everybody, but sometimes a lot of people will have that day off from work just to stop from laboring or from working. On Sunday, September 13th, 1-3 is 13, was Grandparents' Day. So it was a day to celebrate our grandparents. So maybe you didn't know it was Grandparents' Day, and it is never too late to send a card or make a handwritten note or letter to, or picture, draw a picture, do something fun like that to send to Grandma and Grandpa to celebrate Grandparents' Day. Or any kind of older adult that is special to you. It doesn't have to be your grandparents. Maybe it's a neighbor. You know, an older adult that's a neighbor, or somebody else that's special that comes and, you know, babysits for you while your parents go out, something like that. Yeah, so it's always good to celebrate that. Our next one was on Saturday, September 19th, so just this weekend, and it was the start of the Jewish holiday, or Jewish New Year. Sorry, it is a Jewish holiday. So people that are of the Jewish religion will started or celebrated the Jewish New Year on the 19th, and so that was on Saturday, the 19th. And then today we have one. It's kind of hidden behind our purple star. But today, on Tuesday, the 22nd, is the fall equinox. You might be thinking, what does that mean? Basically, an easy way to remember is it's the very first day of fall. Today is our very first day of fall. So we are officially in fall. And if you've noticed the leaves starting to fall from the trees, I've been on a couple of walks this past weekend and I noticed the leaves are starting to turn and fall. So I feel like it's officially fall because yesterday we were still in the season of summer. Now we are officially in fall. So that's exciting. How many of you guys like fall? I love fall. Okay, our next special day is on this week on Friday, the 25th, and it is Native American Day. And so people that are Native American were the very, very first people that lived on this land way before a lot of other people did. They were the very first people that lived in the lands of North America. And so if you are Native American, I'm sure you'll have maybe a special celebration then, or if you know somebody who's Native American, say, hey, happy Native American Day, to celebrate those people that are very ancestors of the very, very first people that lived where you were standing. So yeah, or sitting or lying down, whatever you're doing right now. And then our last kind of special day is Monday, September Monday, the 28th, and it is Yom Kippur, which is another Jewish holiday. So people who are of the Jewish religion will celebrate the holiday of Yom Kippur. So yeah, we have 2 Jewish holidays this month. It's a special month for people who are Jewish. So excellent. And then I like to talk about people's birthdays because I have a birthday and you have a birthday. I'm looking for friends that have a birthday in our month of September. Does anybody have a birthday in our month of September? If you do, share with the people that you're with, or you can always have your grown-ups type it in the chat and I'll put a little piece of birthday cake. You can see there's a birthday cake sticker right over here. I can put a piece of birthday cake. I'm not seeing any, which is totally fine because not everybody has a birthday in the month that we're in, right? My birthday was last month, so I don't have a birthday this month. But I might put a piece of birthday cake on tomorrow's date, on September the 23rd, because that is my nephew's birthday. And if you've been watching me for this month, you will have noticed that I have a lot of people in my family that have a birthday in September. I think I've had a different family member with a different birthday all month long. So lots of September birthdays for me. So tomorrow is my nephew's birthday. So I'm going to say happy birthday to him. Okay, perfect. Well, friends, let's get moving. I am going to stop sharing my screen because today I have a book that we're not going to be on our online book. I have a book that I bet you've read before because it is so much fun and is so silly and it's just really great. And it is one of my nephew's favorite books. He actually had a birthday party that was based off this book, and maybe you have read this book too. And I think it's great because it talks a lot about our sense of taste, right? It is Dragons Love Tacos. Have you read this book before? Well, maybe you have, and it's great, and maybe you haven't, and you will have a lot of fun. So it is Dragons Love Tacos. So we're going to read this book, and then we'll kind of talk about our different senses of, like, our different taste buds that we have on our tongue that help us do our tasting. But we are going to read Dragons Love Tacos first by Adam Rubin, and it's illustrated by Daniel Salmieri. I think that's how he spells his name. Okay, Dragons Love Tacos. There we go. Hey, kid, did you know that dragons love tacos? They love beef tacos and chicken tacos. They love really big, gigantic tacos and tiny little tacos as well. So we have our friend here. He's looking like, what? Dragons love tacos. His dog's making the same face, and he has a lot of dragons in his room. But wait, as much as dragons love tacos, they hate spicy salsa even more. They hate spicy green salsa and spicy red salsa. They hate spicy chunky salsa and spicy smooth salsa. If that salsa is spicy at all, dragons cannot stand it. They can't stand it at all. And he has a cookbook. Our friend has a cookbook that says, "No spicy salsa, a guide to dragon cuisine." So they are making salsa, but not spicy salsa. And why do dragons hate spicy salsa? Well, just one drop of hot sauce makes a dragon ears smoke. One single speck of hot pepper makes a dragon snort sparks, or a dragon snort spark. And spicy salsa gives dragons the tummy troubles. Ooh, you do not want those tummy troubles. Oh boy. So, here we go. If you want to make tacos for dragons, keep the toppings mild. Tomatoes, check. Lettuce, check. Cheese, check. All of these toppings, good toppings for tacos for dragons. And we have our dragon that's giving a thumbs up. So those are all good toppings for dragon. Okay. Hey, dragon. How do you feel about spicy taco toppings? And our dragon's just like, no, and he's holding his tummy because it gives him the tummy troubles. You don't want those tummy troubles when it comes to dragons, right? So dragons also love parties. They love costume parties, and they love, oops, there we go, pool parties. Look at them hanging out in the pool. And they love big, gigantic accordion parties, or parties with accordions. Have you ever been to an accordion party? I haven't. And they love little parties with charades, the game where you act out different things. And why do dragons love parties? Maybe it's the conversation, maybe it's the dancing, maybe it's the comforting sound of good friends' laughter. Parties are a lot of fun, aren't they? So, the only thing dragons love more than parties or tacos is taco parties. They love their taco parties. Taco parties are parties with lots of tacos, according to the book. And if you want to have some dragons over for a taco party, you'll need buckets of tacos, pantloads of tacos. The best way to judge is to get a boat and fill that boat with tacos. How many tacos do you think that is? A boat full of tacos. That's a lot of tacos. And that's about as many tacos dragons need for a taco party. After all, dragons love tacos. So you can see he's got his boat full of tacos. He's got a wagon full of tacos, bags full of tacos, and look at all these toppings. Do they look spicy? I don't think so. So, hey, dragon, are you excited for the big taco party? And look, he has it on his date. It's almost the same date as our date. It's a Tuesday, but it's a 23rd instead of the 22nd. Almost the exact same date as our date. That's pretty cool. And then our little invite says, you're invited taco party for dragons at Robbie's house. So our friend's name is Robbie. And it is on November 23rd at 7. So we were close. A couple months away because it's in November. Just remember, dragons hate spicy salsa. Before you host your taco party with dragons, get rid of all the spicy salsa. In fact, bury that spicy salsa in the backyard so dragons cannot find it. So you can see all of our dragons are lining up to get into the house full of tacos. And then our friend Robbie's back here. He's burying that that spicy salsa so those dragons cannot get it. These dragons love your taco party. They love the music. They love the decorations. They especially love the tacos. Congratulations. Look at these guys. They're eating. Look at all those tacos. He's so happy. He's giving them a kiss because of the successful taco party. They're just eating all the tacos. This guy sure says, I love tacos. You know, he's having a good time because he has a lampshade on his head. They're having a good party, a good taco party. There we go. It's a good thing you got rid of all that spicy. Wait a second. What are those little green things in the salsa? You didn't read the fine print? The fine print says totally mild salsa. Now with spicy jalapeno peppers. Oh no! What do you think is going to happen? Dragons, listen to me. Do not eat those tacos. Those little green specks in the salsa, those are jalapeno peppers. They are super spicy. I know you love tacos, dragons, but you are not going to love these tacos. Do not let those dragons eat the tacos. Oh no, and it goes crunch, crunch, crunch. They're eating all the tacos, and look, they all have spicy salsa on them. Ah. Too late, and all the dragons are going because they have the tummy troubles, right? They are having those tummy troubles because of those spicy jalapeno peppers that were in the super mild salt, totally mild salsa. What's totally mild salsa having a super spicy jalapeno peppers in them? That's silly. Oh, well, look what happened to Robbie's house. All burned down because of those tacos. And those silly dragons. Why would dragons help you rebuild your house? Maybe they're good Samaritans. Maybe they're just doing it to be nice. Maybe they feel bad for wrecking it. Yeah, maybe they're in it just for the taco breaks. But it's nice that they're helping Robbie rebuild his house, isn't it? Because after all, dragons love tacos. They love tacos. So yeah, dragons love tacos. It's so much fun. So one of the things that they love, really mild things, but one of the kind of things that dragons do not like is the kind of taste of spicy. How many of you guys like spicy things? I'm kind of mild about spicy things, so I'm not huge. I can handle a little bit of spice, but not a lot. What about sweet things? Do you like things that are sweet? I bet you do. What's your favorite sweet thing? I think my favorite sweet thing is chocolate. I love chocolate. What about salty? Do you like salty things? Like things like potato chips? Sometimes like potato chips can be salty, right? But can things be too salty? Yeah, you don't want to add too much salt because sometimes having something too salty is not good. And what about sour? Do you like sour things? Things that are maybe a little bit tart that make your tongue pucker and you go, like lemons. Maybe you don't like lemons, maybe like lemonade or lemon flavored cookies. Or lemon pie, things like that. I think that I love lemon. I love a little tart. And then what about bitter? Have you ever had anything bitter? Bitter's kind of hard. We don't usually eat a lot of bitter things. Some examples of something bitter is grapefruit. Have you ever had grapefruit or grapefruit juice before? That's a little bit bitter. What about Brussels sprouts? Have you ever had Brussels sprouts? You might be thinking, oh, Brussels sprouts. And you might not like them because they're bitter. A lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts because they're so bitter. But if you put some yummy toppings and things like that, they could be pretty good. So yeah, so those are kind of our main senses on our tongue. We have sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. And we can actually, on your tongue, people have mapped out where those little things called receptors on your tongue, because your tongue can not only feel, it has nerve endings just like our skin, so we can touch. We know that when our tongue is on our teeth or lips or the top of our mouth or clicking, our tongue can feel all that, right? So it has those touch receptors, but it also has taste receptors. So we can taste different things. So we are going to do some taste testing. So if you have stuff available right now to taste, bring it on out, because we're going to be doing some taste testing really quickly. So things that I have with me is my sweet item is honey. I have some honey that I'm going to taste. For my salty, I have some salty saltine crackers. I have some saltine crackers. For sour, I didn't have a lemon at home, but I had a lime. Lime is, it smells limey and sour. And then I didn't have anything bitter, which is okay because not everybody has bitter stuff around. But I did bring something spicy that our dragons would not like. And I brought spicy Korean chili sauce. It is really spicy. So our dragons would not like this. They would give them the tummy troubles. And so which is good because I wouldn't want our juice base to burn down from all these dragons. So what do you think we should start with? I'm going to say maybe should we start with, we'll get the kind of the rough ones out first. Should we start with sour? Let's start with sour. And our sour receptors a lot of times are kind of near, I'm going to stick my tongue out and I'm going to point to you kind of where our sour receptors on our tongue are. I should have had a picture, but right there, kind of on the sides and near the back of your tongue. Right there. So you can be able to taste things in the front. So I'm going to taste my lemon. I'm just going to put it on the very tip of my tongue and see what I taste like. Woo, it's sour. I can definitely taste it. But if I were to kind of taste it, ooh, I can really taste it on the back sides of my tongue. What about you? Did you have something sour to taste? Can you tell the difference from the tip of your tongue to the back of your tongue? And what happens? My mouth started to salivate whenever I tasted this sour lemon because it wanted to wash away the sourness of it. So did that happen to you too? Oh my goodness, so sour. Okay, I think we'll put our sour lime away for the time being. Should we do salty next? I'm gonna get out my Saltine Cracker, and our salt receptors are kind of, they're on the sides too, but they're near the front. So they're like, where our sour ones were back here, our salt ones are up here. So, excuse me, I'm going to definitely wash my hands after this, so don't worry. So I'm going to take a piece of my maybe saltine cracker. And so you might have a potato chip or fries. A lot of times fries are salty, like French fries are salty, or you can even just take some salt, but that can be like a little intense. So I have a piece of my Saltine Cracker and it has some salt pieces on it. I wonder if you can see those salt pieces right on my Saltine Cracker. And again, I'm gonna put it on the tip of my tongue to see if it makes, I can taste it. I can taste the salt a little bit on the tip of my tongue, but now I'm gonna put it on the sides of my tongue. Oh yeah, it's much more intense than if I do it in the very front. It still tastes pretty good. I'm not going to eat it because all the crunchiness won't be good for the noise, but I can definitely taste the saltiness. It's more intense on the sides of my tongue where those salt receptors are than on the very tip of my tongue. So, salt is pretty good. What did you have? What did you find that was salty? Maybe some potato chips or maybe something else that was salty? Crackers, a lot of times savory crackers are salty. What else is salty? Popcorn can be salty. Pretzels can be salty. Pretzels have a lot of just salt on them. Yeah, pretty good. That was a lot better than the lime. What did you think? Okay, now this is for the fun stuff. Oh, our friend Camilla, she had tortilla chips. That's smart. Yep, tortilla chips are definitely salty. Yummy, yum. Okay, should we move on to our sweet? I have honey. What did you get that was some other things that are sweet, or maybe like maple syrup or agave syrup, candy, cookies, ice cream. Fruit is a healthy option. I should probably say some healthy things. We have some yummy fruits, strawberries and peaches. Those are all really sweet. Bananas, apples, those are sweet. But sometimes it can be sour, right? Like a sour apple. A green sour apple is sour. Woo. So yeah, so I'm gonna taste some honey, and our sweet receptors, they're right in the front. So I was, kind of comparing everything to my sweet receptors. So now if I take a little bit of honey on my finger, got a little bit of honey, and now I'm gonna taste the very front. So good. But now I can taste it a lot. So I'm going to now kind of put it on the sides of my tongue where those other receptors were, our sour and our sweet, our salty were. And again, I can taste it, but it's not as intense as at the very front. It's a lot more intense and a lot more flavorful at the very, very front. Honey is so good. So yeah, so our sweet receptors are on the very, very tip of our tongue, which is probably why we like sweet things so much, because it's the first, we get that tense flavor right at the very beginning, right at the front of our mouth, right? And then if I had something bitter, again, maybe you have something bitter. Maybe you have some grapefruit or some Brussels sprouts. Some vegetables can be bitter a little bit, you know. Broccoli can be bitter. Maybe you have some broccoli, things like that. Sometimes just raw veggies can be a little bit bitter. And that's going to be on the very back of our tongue. If you think of your tongue as kind of like a box or a square, it's like salty and sour on the sides, are sweet is on the front, and then kind of along the back of that box, that far back tongue near the back of our mouth, that is where our bitter receptors. Now, I don't have any bitter taste, so maybe you have that and you can experience that. But what I do have is spicy, and there's not a specific part of your mouth that is more receptive to spicy. Spicy just kind of takes over your whole mouth, especially if it's really spicy. So I'm going to taste some of this spicy Korean chili sauce and see how my mouth tastes. Hopefully I don't get the tummy troubles and burn down our, do you think that'll happen? Do you think I'll spout fire like our dragons and Dragons Love Tacos? Let's see. So I have my little bit, a lot more actually than I was hoping for. We'll see. I'll just taste a little bit. Whew. It is spicy. Ooh, and kind of where spicy works and where it lands in your mouth and where it touches your mouth, that's kind of where it's the most hot. So I touched it right there, and it's the most intense right there. So if I touched it in the front, it's gonna burn a little bit right there. Ooh, yes, I feel that burn. Kind of gives, spicy is like that burning taste. So maybe you really like spicy things. A lot of people really like spicy things. And then there are people that are, it's like too spicy. I'm kind of I think things can be too spicy. For me, I don't like things very spicy, but okay, the flavor is good. It has a good flavor to it, but it's spicy. So yeah, so this is what I want you guys to do this week. Think about when you're eating your food, think about what you're eating and think, what is this? Is it spicy? Is it salty? Is it sweet? Is it both? Sometimes it's more than one thing. Sometimes things can be sweet and salty. That's one of my favorite combinations. I love things that are like chocolate dipped pretzels, something that's a little sweet and a little salty. It's a really good combination. Is it sour? You know, maybe you get a little bit of sour tones to whatever you're eating. Maybe it's bitter. Try some bitter stuff, because bitter is kind of hard to identify. We don't eat a lot of bitter things. So maybe our grown-ups this week can find some bitter, maybe buy a grapefruit or some Brussels sprouts for dinner. They're healthy, I promise. And try some and see what it tastes like, if you can taste the bitterness in those foods. But think about what you're tasting and see if you can test the things on your tongue. Is it more receptive in the front than in the back? It's probably sweet or salty. Is it more receptive in the back? Maybe it's sour or bitter. So think about it. So yeah, well, you guys, thank you for joining me today for our story time and our taste testing. I hope you were able to join. And if not, you can always do this later on in the week. It's a really easy thing that you can find just things in your pantry or around the house. What are some things that you can taste and do a little taste test with your grown-ups this week? Well, friends, we are going to be doing what are we doing next week? Another sense. I forget which one we're doing next week. I think we're doing our sense of smell. We're doing our sense of smell. So gather up some smelly things next week, and we're going to see if we can, and pretty sure we're doing our sense of smell. Might be sight. I'll let you know. We're doing one of our other. It's always hard to tell. which ones are going to be the best. And I can't remember which one I decided on, which would be best in this kind of format. So anyway, we're going to be doing another sense, one of our 5 senses. So hopefully you can join me again next week, and we'll do something interactive like this. That's a lot of fun. So thank you for joining me this week for Little's Lab. I hope to see you again soon. We'll have a good week and have fun taste testing things. Bye-bye.